Does God really have faith in peons like me? I'm Stephen Tocher, and I've helped hundreds of people in the Department of Mentoring and Life Coaching over the past 20 years. And over the next 40 years, I'd like to help 10 million people in areas of their faith, their family, fitness, and life in general. So let's talk. All right, my daughters and I and my fam in general, we went out to the park today. It was just a lovely day in the sun. The sun's finally breaking through after some time where we weren't getting much at all. And today was let's do the fire pole. My eldest really wanted to get back on the horse there. She had done smaller and shorter fire poles on the playground at different playgrounds. And she had done this one in the past, but I'd usually help her a fair bit. Now this time around, she wanted to, learn it and do it on her own. So the first time she did it, she followed my instructions and she did pretty much a wonderful job. Everything went super well. She slid down super fast. I was like, wow, all the muscle memory came back in. Then the second time she did it, she kind of did it a little bit carefree. And when she did it, I had to kind of catch her. And when I did, she got really nervous. So she kind of ran away from it, and I told her, it's okay, that's fine. And I've seen in the past other parents be like, you got to get back on the horse right away, you got to do this right away, you're going to be afraid for the rest of your life. And I used to be one of those types of parents. But in this scenario, this situation, and I'm sure I might fail in the future, but in this exact situation, I said to myself, this is a great opportunity to show faith, to give her that faith, to know that her dad is there, that I'm a trusted person, I'm a trusted source for her, and that I have faith in her whether she does the fire pole, a million times or she doesn't do it again, that I trust her instincts and her intuition. I'll give her the opportunity and every opportunity to feel safe and to, go back up and climb up, which is a bit of a tough climb as well, which she's mastered, which is really cool. But just to, help her with that fire pole that's probably around 4 times her height, or 3 times her height. Let's just say 3 for the sake of being as not blowing it out of proportion as I have been known to the fisherman stories. So, we talked for a little bit, and she said, I really want to do it. I really want to, get back on the pole. I really want to try. So I said, okay, that's great. I didn't push her. This is key. I didn't, give her too much of an incentive. I didn't say like, oh, if you do this, I'm going to do this and that for you, or you have to do it, or push her in that way. She just kind of came to her own resolve that this was something that was fun, and she really wanted to do it again properly. So we went back. She climbed all the way up to the top. She didn't want to do it. So I helped her down. I'm tall enough. I have almost an 8.5 foot 8.5 foot reach. So by the time I was able to grab her little legs, she just kind of jumped down into my arms and she walked away. And I just encouraged her. I said, it's okay. If you don't want to do it, that's not a problem. But if you do, I'm here for you. Daddy will catch you. Daddy will help you. Daddy will walk with you. And then her little sister wanted to try. Now that, could be a source of quote unquote contention because we obviously don't want to pit our kids against each other. But, when, someone else does something that you, and that person is someone you respect and love, you kind of sometimes under the peer pressure want to do it as well. So her little sister went up there, and of course, when her little sister got up to the top, I just grabbed her by her legs and her feet and just lifted her down on the pole. And so my eldest said, Daddy, could you do that for me? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I did that. I helped her back to the pole. She reached out her arm. She did hand, and then she reached out her foot, and she lunged at the pole. And this time I had to really catch her because, she was flailing as she was going down. It was one of the worst attempts she had ever made. But she just said, I can do this. She's so young, and she just said, I can do this. And she kind of gritted her hands. I said, wow, the confidence that I've placed in her, the time that I spent in just engaging with her and saying, I'm not pressuring you to do something. I just think it's a good idea if you try, but if you don't want to, it's not a big deal. I think that gave her that safety, that feeling of security. And she got, climbed up that hard, it's kind of it's a chain ladder where, it's wibble wobbling, and she's gotten really good at climbing. Her and I have done some 20 foot, 25 foot kind of climbing triangles in different parks and stuff like that. And she climbed up and she said, I can do this, I can do this. And she did it. She absolutely crushed it. And she came down the pole. I caught her once, and then the second and third time, she did it. And it was just such a wonderful moment that she was able to get there on her own. But in reality, she wasn't on her own. I was there. So this got me thinking about just the things that are going on in my own life, and myself as this quote unquote fatherly or dad figure to my child. I constantly am reminded of how God purposefully made it so that we were obviously called his children, that we are just like my little daughter to him. And I thought of all the times and situations where God has had faith in me. Now that at times there are certain phrases that sound almost like heresy, that it just doesn't sound right when we first think about it. But when we put it to the test, we put it to the Bible test, it's true. It's something that sometimes we can't fathom God doing something or having a attribute, but in reality God does. And it says in 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 13, if we are faithless, he remains faithful. Now, what is he faithful to? Well, he's faithful in his persistent grace of us and for us. That grace that is always there and is coming after us so that we can be redeemed and saved through Jesus Christ. The belief in our potential, because there's so many times in our lives where we get caught up and we have imposter syndrome. We think that we're not enough, we're not good enough. And God is saying in multiple places in the Bible, in Ephesians, in Corinthians, in Romans, in the Gospels, that he believes in us, in the potential and the talents that he gives us to do his work and to mature in our lives. And that he trusts us in the stewardship that he's given us. There's faith in that actual trust of stewardship when he gives us a family, a flock to shepherd, people in our lives to connect with and to help. And so in that moment when I was helping my daughter and she overcame, I thought to myself, wow, how many times has God done this to us? Walked us through those tough moments in our lives, allowed us to fail, allowed us to, get on the pole and swing around and almost fall off and be afraid. And I remember at a time beforehand when I went up and did the pole with her, when I climbed up the really, shaky ladder, and I went on the pole and I showed her how effortless and easy it was. And I was reminded again of the fact that we don't just do these things out of blind faith. We do these things because Jesus went before us. Jesus, fully God and fully man, went before us and lived through the hardships, the problems, the issues, the times when we're afraid, when God wants us to step into things and we feel that it's impossible. It's amazing that we have already the role model that's set up for us in the personhood of Jesus Christ and everything that he was able to accomplish on this earth. So as I land the plane here today, I just want to remind you that if we are faithless, which is going to happen a lot of times in our life, he will remain faithful, that he is persistent in his grace for us. He knew us before our parents knew us. He knew us before time began. He has belief in our potential. He has belief in humans, in humanity. Or else, the Father wouldn't have sent Jesus to die for us. And we need to trust that he trusts us in the stewardship of his work, because he gives us the work to do. If God just wanted to show up to us and say, hey, I'm God and follow me, he could have done that, but he didn't. He allowed us to be in a world where we would steward things and we would bring glory to him. And as Jesus says, for those who glorify me in front of men, I will glorify them in front of the Father. So I hope that's uplifting for you today, especially if you're a parent and your kids going through a tough time, or maybe they don't have faith in themselves. Just try your best to live it out. Try your best to encourage them And of course, there's sometimes you're going to need to push them to get through things or to finish their homework or whatever it might be. But there are other times when we just need to be filled with grace, trust that they can do something and believe in their potential. And I promise you, maybe not all the time, but sometimes you will be able to get a wonderful result and a great story like I was able to today. If you'd like to see any other dad doing dishes videos, please take a look at this playlist right here. If you don't mind, like and comment. It really helps out the algorithm. Please subscribe over here. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, evening, morning, or night. God bless.